I came to this, actually met the act after me, Mr. John Warhanam, here in Prince George. And up until that point, I'd been hearing about this other singing school teacher that decided to run away from children and become a folk singer. And then I saw his name on the bill at the, I think it was the first summer Prince George Folk Fest. And I thought, that's that singing school guy I keep hearing about. And so that's the first thing I said, well, you're that other school teacher guy. And he said, I don't know, there's another one. You know. Anyways, we've become friends over the years, and it's been wonderful. I ended up in the north, in the White Horse, 14 years ago to take a teaching job. I said yes. I couldn't get one in Ontario. I'll go somewhere far away. You know. And when I got there, I came from a big melting pot, you know, Toronto, where you get on the bus and there's 50 different cultures on one bus, and no one really thinks about the color of their skin. But when I went to the Yukon, I realized there was really only two colors of skin: the white man and the Aboriginal, the Native, or Indian, as most of my Indian friends prefer. I call them Indian. Some of them are a little tired of being called anything else. And I worked in a Native school there for 5 years, and then when I got out of that, I started doing this Artist in the School program, where we went to all the rural communities and played these concerts for kids who hadn't seen music, you know, since the 2 years we were there before. Real sort of destitute kind of places. And last time I went through there, about 3 years ago now, I guess, was just after the Canadian government had decided to apologize for all the residential school stuff. And I really didn't know much about it until I moved to the north, and it's really fresh up there. It's, you know, 30 years old in a sense for a lot of people. And one of the first stories that I ever heard was that when the Queen came to the Yukon to visit, they were embarrassed about all the unmarked graves they found that they had put out for all the kids that didn't make it through the school year. And they had all these white crosses with no names, and so they decided to bulldoze these fields of crosses so that the Queen wouldn't ask, what's with all those white crosses? So I started learning a bit about sort of what was going on there. I was in a school where, you know, a young white guy with lots of ideas wasn't too welcome. And I was just excited to be there. I wanted to be an Indian. You know, it was fun. My last name is Tentrees. It's Irish, not Indian, which can get you in trouble. Once I was hired to play the North American Aboriginal games. And my guitar player said, they must know you're Irish, right? And I said, well, look at my picture. He said, there's a lot of blue-haired, blue-eyed natives. And I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. So I called the guy, and I said, you know, I'm not Indian, eh? And he said, oh. I said, so the contract? Ooh. I shouldn't send it, you know? And that was the end of that. But I saw a whole bunch of things in the community because of all the money going around there. And people that were used to living on $500 were now living on getting a $10,000 settlement check in the mail. And if they didn't have any fuel for their social problems, well, they certainly did with that kind of money. No idea or need of how to or want to spend it. And so we go to these little towns, and we see these, you know, people drinking themselves to death. And I thought, you know, obviously money's not going to solve the problem, and no Band-Aid is. And it sort of got to the point where, of course, that was a terrible thing that happened, but yes, let's acknowledge it, not ignore it, but let's just give each other a little room here to breathe and move on together. And I found living up there's not enough of that going on. This is a song about a whole bunch of stories that I see all the time up there.